Recently, my family and I decided it was time to find a new apartment between changes in our lifestyle and wanting more space. We knew it was time to start looking, and in this video I'll take you through the experience of visiting 4 different properties, what we learned, and how we made our final decision. Hello, I'm Jeff Tinagan, and I've been living in Japan for 6 years, exploring its culture, travel spots, and daily life. One of the main reasons for moving was, of course, space, because we have a baby and it's actually 3 of us in a very small apartment in Japan. As a foreigner in Japan, finding an apartment isn't always easy. There are a lot of things to consider that can make moving challenging, and I wanted to make sure our new place would be the right fit for our family. Now, before I even started looking at places, I sat down to figure out our budget and our top priorities. So we needed a place that could give us a bit more room and ideally be closer to certain conveniences. So I also use a few apps and websites. So Village House, Ibiru Network, and UR to search for options that match that we were looking for, and contacted a few agencies that are familiar with working with foreigners in Japan. So we initially visited 4 different properties, each with its own pros and cons, and I'll take through each one briefly. So the first property is in the Village House. So its monthly rent is 45,000 yen, 54.37 square meters in size, and it's far from the station, but it's 5-minute walk to the bus station.
This floor is done. You do?
Second one is still Village House, apartment 303. Its monthly rent is 42,000 yen, and it's actually 54.37 square meters in size. So it's far from the train station, but it's near the bus station. The first and second apartments were really good and reasonably priced, but the reliance on buses was a drawback for us. So buses in the city can be affected by traffic, unlike trains, which are punctual and stick to their schedules. Third property, closer to the city, it's also nice, and it's 4 minutes to the nearest train. 3DK, 53.68 square meters, 42,000 monthly plus other fees. Now, initial fee is around 220,000 yen, so no AC, that's why it's way cheaper. So the third apartment is generally close to the train station, which was a big plus. However, the downside was that it didn't come with an AC, right? So the buying one, along with the installation cost, would be quite expensive and require an upfront investment, which felt like a hassle for us family. So it would really take a lot of money and effort. Now, before I go over with that, there's what you would hear all the time when finding apartments in Japan. You have a 2DK, LDK, 3DK, and so on. So what are those? So the first number is actually the number of rooms, and the letters would mean the kind of room. For example, if it's 2 LDK, it's actually 2 rooms. L stands for living, and D is dining, and it would be kitchen, K for kitchen. So sometimes you would see 2K only, meaning 2 rooms plus a kitchen. If it's a 2DK, it's a 2 plus a dining room and a kitchen room, or kitchen space or dining space. If it's a 3 LDK, so that's the biggest probably, or maybe 4 LDK. So it could be have like 4 rooms plus a living, a dining, and a kitchen space. So just, maybe it's your first time to hear this, or if you're not moving here yet, so those are the words that you might encounter. Next would be the fourth property. So 11 minutes to the nearest station. It's a 3 LDK, 58.61 square meters, and also 50K monthly, plus other fees. On the paper, it is 59,500 per month. Then the initial fee is 255,000 approximately. Now, that is really expensive, but this is one of our favorites. So I think Reika-chan really likes it. The agent we worked with was really nice and very helpful throughout the process. However, like most apartment finders in Japan, the services come with high costs since they act as middlemen. So for the third and fourth apartments, the initial fees are around 200,000 yen, and there wasn't any rent fee yet on those 200,000. You just paid initially as initial costs, and then you don't get them back. But there may be 50,000 at the end of your moving to another apartment, but it's most roughly that 200,000, just say goodbye to it. So after visiting all 4 apartments, we took some time to weigh the pros and cons of each, and we carefully considered factors like location, layout, whether the place would suit our family long term. Just as we were leaning toward a decision, everything changed when phone call. My wife got a new job in Nagoya, the 3rd largest city in Japan. So this put us at a crossroads. So should we stay in Mie Prefecture and choose one of the 4 apartments with my wife commuting to Nagoya every day? Or should we move to Nagoya and find a new apartment there? And even though it might be more expensive. So as a father, I felt it was better for me to handle the longer commute to Mie Prefecture. So we decided to look for a place in Nagoya instead. Now we explored 3 different options in Nagoya and ultimately found an apartment we loved.
So we're heading to the 3rd one. It's actually 5th floor. However, it just goes to or stops at 1st, 4th, 7th, 10th, and 13th. So it's 5th floor, so I'm gonna use the stairs after the 4th floor. Sad life.
So that's why I'm showing this one to you. What really stood out was the family-friendly environment, especially the parks nearby for Rigatan. So which is perfect for a little one. The rent is 69,500-ish. With a 12,000 yen parking fee, it comes to over 84,000 yen per month. That's really big. Rent is high because we'll be in a bigger city, but it has no initial fees, unlike the 3rd and 4th, and it's a bit more expensive than what we initially planned. But it's worth it for the convenience and the quality of life it offers. So once we have decided already, we moved into the lease signing phase. So there were several fees and documents we had to handle, but the city hall concerns and ward office, things like that, were more time consuming after moving. I also had to start planning the move itself, from setting up utilities to figuring out how we'd transition smoothly, and everything was done by phone, which is nice. Later, I'll tell you what's the best tip when you're moving apartments. So it was a busy time, but it all felt worth it. So looking back, I learned a lot about what to look for in a Japanese apartment, especially as a foreigner. And if you're also thinking about moving to Japan, number 1 is learn the language. It's quite difficult to really bother your Japanese friends, or maybe your JTE if you're a teacher. Yeah, you can do it for the 1st, 2nd years, but right now it's just logical, and it's just fulfilling also as a person if you do it on your own, calling them in Japanese and practicing what you have in your Nihongo mind. And also don't expect that there will be no discrimination, because there will be. So I remember I think on my 3rd year in Japan, I was not allowed to get into a nice apartment because I was a foreigner. And they said it was only for Japanese people. So I felt like, why are you doing this? I still don't know. Maybe it's a language barrier thing. But yeah, there are apartments in Japan that only the Japanese people can live there. So, but anyway, it's just that, yeah, there will be discrimination. And I experienced that. But I'd say budget carefully. So we are a family of 3, so 2 people working. That's why 80,000 yen to me is fine as a family. And of course, don't hesitate to ask the agents questions. So it's also helpful to get familiar with the specific fees and paperwork here, so there are no surprises. So go for a no initial fee, just like the UR, just like the village house. Those 2 are the things that I know as of now, near Nagoya area or in Mie Prefecture. Maybe you could see them also in your places. So thank you for joining us in this journey of finding a new apartment. If you have any questions about apartment hunting here, or want to share your own experiences, drop them in the comments, and I'd love to hear from you. In our next video, we'll take you inside the apartment we finally chose, give you a detailed look at the rooms, and share the realizations we had along the way. So see you there.